Welcome back to CSM TV. We are back and we are working on my 92 Dodge Colt today. It's been a little while since we've worked on the car. Well, at least since I've had a video out. I've been doing some things. I'll show you here in a little bit. But been waiting on parts. I was gonna prep the car to go get a cage installed as well, a new cage. It's got a 6-point in it now. I need a 10-point, and that unfortunately hasn't totally fallen through. It's gonna be, I just talked to the guy a few weeks ago and he's backed up till June. So instead of taking the cage out in mid-season, I may just wait till the end. I'm not real sure on that, but for now we're gonna keep the 6-point in there. So couldn't work on that. Waiting on parts for the engine. All the parts from Powder Coat, which we just got back, so I'm super pumped on that. We have been working on a few things, so I haven't been totally neglecting the car. It's just, it hasn't been anything that I've been wanting to film or enough to show like a full video on, so go through some of that stuff real quick. Who wants to watch me do something stupid? Okay, before we open up that box of parts, that's from the powder coater. And from what I've seen so far, I didn't look through all of them. I just kind of peeked a little bit. They looked really good. But before we open that stuff up, go over what's changed. Not much. I ended up painting the catch can. It was like a polished aluminum, kind of like the fittings, I guess. Painted all the brackets, the tops of the filters. So now it's all black, which I like. And then I painted the other catch can as well to match. Which those need to be bolted back in. They're just kind of laying in there, which I probably should have done. It's okay. So we painted the catch cans up, trying to just clean everything up, especially when I have extra time and don't have a whole lot to do. And the radiator, I have a little clip of the radiator of before. This is why I can't have polished things. You can see it's grimy. And I can't keep it clean, so we're gonna paint it. And this is after. I think in the video I said I was gonna paint it, but I started to scuff it up, and I might just keep it a brushed look. I'm afraid if I just paint it with radiator paint that it's gonna start chipping and look even worse. But so, not sure what I'm gonna do with that just yet. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And I did work on the Gallant a little bit. Unfortunately, waiting on some things on that I got to figure out. You'll see in that video whenever that comes out. But I think that's it. Oh, wait, no. Got parts back from my buddy Sean. He vapor blasted my thermostat housing and water neck. I'll show you a little before and after because they turned out really good. Let's go ahead and dig into the box, see what we got. That looks so much better. That's gonna look good. Oh, dang. Alright, let's just go ahead and go with the next piece. Gonna be all this next stuff's gonna be the same color. There it is. It's the color we went with. Looks like it's gonna match the car pretty good. Can't forget the clamp. If this thing was shiny, it would just not work for me. Super pumped everything back. It all looks good. There is one little spot, unfortunately, and that's going to be towards the top of the turbo. So hopefully we can get that fixed. We'll see. I know I like to show everything, so I'm trying to hate on anybody or any of that, but yeah, we'll see if we can get that taken care of. But super happy to get everything back together. I really want to put back the turbo, put that back together, and man, I think I'm going to resist. Get the blow-off valve and wastegates back together first, and then move on to the turbo. So quick update before we start on the blow-off valve and the wastegate. I did talk to Shane. He had me bring the turbine housing right back over. He said he's going to get it done ASAP. Going to blast it and recoat it. Definitely seemed pretty upset that happened, but so, you know, mistakes happen. I make them all the time, and I try to show most of everything on this channel to keep it real. So, you know, you guys see me make mistakes, so no big deal. It's just how you go about fixing those mistakes is really what really counts, which seems like it's going in a really good direction. So hopefully we'll have that back really soon, but let's go ahead and get to this blow-off valve and wastegate. All right, so blow-off valve, fairly easy, just to show you guys. Basically, just put our little piston back in, that's sealed. I did have a black spring in here. It seemed to be leaking just a little bit on idle, so we're going to go with the white one, which is like the next step up. So hopefully that'll fix it. Top goes on, and then all your screws go in. So it should be fairly easy, hopefully. We'll see. Usually I was using my press, but we're going to try this squeeze clamp, see how that goes. This is the important part. You do not want to squeeze this seal anywhere, because then it will leak. And then also, nice piece of tape just in case. We don't want to ruin this finish. So, with all these in, we're actually going to go back and Loctite them now. I don't like to Loctite them off the rip. It'd be easier, but I don't know. I'm just afraid of stripping them, so I don't want to have to worry about getting Loctite everywhere and then doing it. So, extra work, but that's the way I like to do it. Yeah, that's basically it. We'll go ahead and Loctite all these. You guys just saw me screw it down, so no need to keep going with that. And the wastegate, it's got a few more pieces that need to go on, but still no big deal. You want to keep everything organized, probably better than what I did, but pretty easy. One thing I did notice on mine, I want to make sure this port goes about where I want it. I'm going to move it a little bit to where different spot than it was, but that's about where I want to line mine up. Just depends on how your wastegate setup is. So, all right. So next thing, nut. Don't forget this little O-ring here. And of course, I don't know a torque spec for this. I'm gonna throw it in the vise real quick, tighten her up. Next little piece is this little set screw. It's going to go right in there. Pop some Loctite on that because we don't want it moving at all. There we go. Now we got her seated properly. A bunch of little set screws, and go 4 of them. This starts to pinch, a little screwdriver, kind of tuck her back in. A little bit of a problem. I had to helicoil this one, and I think I got a little angle on it, so unfortunately it's going in a little crooked. So yeah, now we'll go ahead do what we did on like the blow-off valve. We'll go back and Loctite all these bolts. With our wastegate and BOV all assembled, we'll move on to cam sensor housing and the thermostat housing. We can go ahead and pop those in there. Big shout out to Scott Glassbrook at FTY. Sent me some new O-rings. Apparently they're just factory ones, he informed me. Some dipshit installed those incorrectly. He sent me a couple new ones so we can throw those on. And I also threw in some of these ARP head studs. I had some extra ones. Well, actually manifold studs. Same studs that go on the manifold. They're actually pretty much the same length as the exhaust manifold studs. So I threw those in to kind of match everything, freshen it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and throw that stuff in. It's trying to fuck up this O-ring. Alright, we'll make sure to put this in the correct way. If you don't remember, take pictures before you take it apart. It's the key. Alright, before we go too far, I'm going to go ahead and seal up all these caps here. Different ports and stuff that I'm not using, and using some of this liquid sealant. I'm sure if you've been watching long enough, you see me use this stuff all the time. Layer on thick. And all this excess you can just wipe right off. Hopefully not get covered in it. I'm already fucking it up. Ugh. Alright, ready for a thermostat. Oh snap. Know what that means. We can get the turbo together. Shane got her fixed up. Now she's looking nice and perfect. Ready to get this turbo back together. So Shane at PCT Coating got a quick turnaround on redoing this. He stripped, recoated it. Actually deburred this little guy I had there. That's kind of nice. But yeah, quick turnaround for a custom color. So if you need things powder coated, hit him up. Let's go ahead and get this turbo back together. Alright, got everything laid out, ready to go. Just got to get to it. Hopefully not mess anything up. We're going to keep everything a little loose so we can clock the turbo once we get it mocked up on the engine. And don't forget the O-ring. Alrighty, there we go. Turbo kit on my thing. This bolt really sucks to get to. About time for a V-band setup. Alright, so turbo kit to the engine for mock-up. And I do have an old gasket on here. We don't have a brand new one because this is just for mock-up for now. So we can clock the turbo, and I gotta do an oil drain and a few other things. So we're gonna get her mocked up. Ooh, wait. Look. Ooh. Yup. That's what I wanted. So still gotta clock the turbo a little bit. You can see it's a little bit forward, so that's why we're mocking it up, and it's easier to do on the stand than in the engine bay of the Colt. Everything gets really tight, so I wanted to do on the stand where I can actually get to everything. And so we'll get the turbo all clocked. I got a new oil drain to put on it, which I'll show you guys in a bit, but I'm gonna get some beauty shots of this. I'm gonna toss on one more part. I think that'll need to be on there. It doesn't need to be on there. It'll need to be on there for the shot. You'll see. You'll see. Alrighty, the turbo is clocked where it needs to be. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new oil drain for this. Well, not make, assemble a new oil drain for this. I've been using this AN hose, which does the job. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get those lined up, and it always feels like you're stripping it out, and you got to kind of fight with it. So I'm going to try something a little easier, I hope. It's a Morrison Fab drain. They do really good work with everything else, so I'm sure this is going to be awesome. So I bought actually two different kits. I bought one for the Galant with the factory style turbo, and this is that kit. And for a PTE or kind of everything else turbo. Comes with all the instructions, all the hardware, clamps, an extra clamp just in case you need to, they say clamp the hose in case it's kinked. And then the two fittings. And these fittings got a little angle to go towards the oil pan. So that should help it out. And the oil pan one goes kind of up towards the turbo. If you can see that. So luckily, and they don't come with gaskets, so make sure you have your gaskets. Luckily, I always order extras when I do, so I had an extra gaskets laying around, so luckily. So let's go ahead and get to it. I want to make sure this is pointing upwards. On this one, I guess showed it wrong. So we want the kink to go this way. Obviously towards the oil pan. It's a good example of why I'm switching, because this nut is always in the way once you get that big fitting in there. So it's hard to actually tighten down with this in here. Just slide the hose over and just need a hose clamp. That might be really close. Oof, that. Alrighty. So hopefully we don't cut too much. We'll go slow. These are leather shears actually I got for oh yeah, there we go. And install is done for now. And that's just mock-up. We got to pull a turbo kit, like I said. and pull the engine off the stand, get it ready to go in. But for now, we're going to call it good on this episode. Really excited for all the parts. Hope you guys like them as much as I do. I'm really pumped. I've never really had anything coated, so I try to keep things clean, but never went to this extent before. So I really like it. Really excited to see it in the actual engine bay. So hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully, I know there'll be videos coming up sooner rather than later. We won't have to wait a month or whatever, however long it's been. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.